Hi, if you didn't already know, one of the biggest epidemics that we are facing here in America today is men choosing not to get married. Today, I want to dive in and talk about what is happening, why it's happening, and the best part, the solution to all of this. Let's dive in.
The society we're creating right now, more and more men don't want to get married. And I get why.
I'm never gonna get married. I don't want to get married.
Why? My dad, he'd always told me, do you know what the number one leading cause of divorce is? And I was like, oh my God, like that's a huge question.
Made you want to never do it.
I'm gonna divorce you, but you're still gonna be responsible for paying for me.
So let's start with the why. Why is this happening? Well, here is a discussion on Reddit about this topic and a few men sharing why they have made this decision. I love my significant other, but marriage itself has literally no perks in my eyes. What does it give me that my current relationship status does not? Another saying, I've seen marriages fail all around me. My mom is not happy in hers, but she has her own issues. My friend who didn't want to get married or have kids at first, got married, had a kid, wife cheated on him with 2 different men, and they got divorced. He's paying child support and is starting to think his kid isn't his. He's afraid to take a paternity test, but knows he should. That alone was enough of a reason. Another writing, marriage is an archaic social construct. Even the arbitrary steps to getting married are ridiculous, and all for social acceptance and validation. Expensive engagement ring, bachelorette parties, wedding shower, expensive wedding and reception, honeymoon. You don't need any of that to simply love your partner. And the last one, it creates a contractual agreement between 2 parties that either party can withdraw from the contract at any time. However, the less well-off party can have the state order the more well-off party to give a substantial amount of income to them just because they decided to void the contract. If you did not describe this as marriage, any lawyer would tell you to run. I have no desire to involve state in my relationship just to give someone a tool to ruin my life with. Okay, so across the board, there are 5 main reasons why men are choosing not to get married. The first reason being feeling trapped and tied to someone who would cheat or lie to them. When we marry, we are putting our faith in the other person to not betray us. We are putting faith in this person to remain faithful, to not lie or cheat, to love us through sickness and in health, as we know life is uncertain and full of storms and trials. We put that faith in a person and they could turn around and not remain faithful to the words they promised you. The second reason being witnessing divorce.
Promise is a comfort to a fool in the first place. But not only, you should not be putting your faith into any human being. Okay, you don't know their heart. You can't know someone's heart. So you're not supposed to do that. Trust in no man. Right? The only thing you should be seeking is the truth, and that is God. And when you seek that, He will add everything to your life that you need, because you don't know what you need. Every time, as a man and then as a woman, every time, and reflect on yourself, every time you go look for a woman or a man, look at the hell that you catch. It never ends good, because you go searching. You're trusting in yourself. You're trusting in your thoughts that the devil has planted there. You go in your thoughts, you make plans with him. And he's going to give it to you. And then he's going to take it away from you. He's going to give you that emotion feeling at the first, which is you think emotions are good, and then he's going to take it away. Snatch it. Then you're going to feel bad. You're going to get control like that. Put your faith in God. That's the only faith you need in life. And don't be relying on someone to make you feel happy, or the marriage is going to make you feel happy. You're just lying to yourself. You will never be fulfilled. You're going to think it's fulfilled for a while. Then the marriage is going to dissipate, and you're going to be like, I need something else. And you're going to go to something else to try and fulfill that peace that is missing inside of you.
and the effects of it, it is no surprise that when a child is born in a household of divorced parents, the effects are detrimental. Being a bystander to the hardship, betrayal, and or ruin of our parents.
Look at the evil. They're arguing. And they don't realize they're traumatizing the kids. Ruining them. Both two egos. You didn't do what I say. You didn't follow it this way. Well, I don't want to follow it this way. I want to do it my way. Two egos fighting to take control of each other. And they're destroying the kids in the process. Just because they want to feel good. Isn't that evil? Want to control someone to make you feel good.
Can significantly impact a child's life when it comes to relationships in the future, including difficulty forming healthy relationships, trust issues with partners, and challenges with intimacy, among so many other negative factors. But when you are a child of a divorced family, this can be detrimental when it comes to somebody choosing whether or not they want to get married. Number 3, it costs too much money to get married. In 2024, the national average for a wedding costs $33,000. A venue alone can range from $5,000 to $15,000. Catering can cost between $50 to $150 per guest. Floral arrangements can cost between $2,000 and $4,000. Wedding party attire sitting around $1,000 to $3,000. Truly, the numbers are crazy and enough to make your head spin. Normally, a bride's parents will typically pay for most of the wedding costs, but the prices were not nearly as much as we are witnessing today.
Why you need to spend so much money on a wedding? Why? I don't get it. Just so your wife can feel good about the wedding, so she can have a good time. So you're gonna listen to a feelings that is, you're gonna listen to a feeling that your wife herself was traumatized to have, because feelings are not good to have, right? Man, take that money, go buy yourself a property, invest in your family so you can take care of your family. And guess what? When that feelings change down the line, all that money that you spend on the wedding and you can't provide for your family, your wife is going to judge you for it. She's going to judge you because you listen to her feelings to make her feel good. And then you listen to the woman, and anytime you listen to the woman, you will suffer. Now you listen to her and she's going to use it against you and possibly leave you because guess what? You can't provide for the family and you waste thousands of dollars when you could put that in an investment to make more money so you can provide for your family. It makes no sense to have an extravagant wedding. No sense. So she can feel good. So is she with you because she loves you, or she's with you because how you can make her feel? That's a question you should ask yourself. And it seems like that's most relationship these days. You make me feel good, you take me out, you do all of these things to make me feel good. That is love. And we have sex, that's love. That is not love, not one bit. That's you controlling and manipulating that person.
To be that the whole point of a wedding was that a couple could raise money at the wedding to be able to go start their lives and get a home. But now the prices to throw the wedding itself are so astronomical that you are lucky to get back 30% of what you invested into the day. Among researching for this video, I discovered that weddings became more expensive due to a number of factors. The rise of individualism, for starters, which was influenced by the royal wedding of Diana and Charles, which led to the belief that lavish weddings were something a couple deserved. I never knew that, and I thought that was so interesting to find out. Another factor being the economy after World War II. Middle and working class people had more disposable income, which allowed them to spend more on weddings. And lastly, because of the wedding industry's influence. The wedding...
We just want to go back a little bit. Look how women
and
used to
working class
dress back
people
then.
had more disposable income, which allowed them
Look at that. Look how women used to dress. Nice.
to spend
The
more
guys still
on
look
weddings.
sharp.
And lastly, because of the wedding industry's influence. The wedding industry convinced people that extravagant weddings are the only way to get married. Venues also realizing they could create a one-stop event, which led to a major decline in couples getting married in the church. Okay, moving on to number 4, which I believe is the most popular reason that men don't want to get married anymore, which is that the contract and the state are designed in such a way that puts the provider of the household in a bad spot. If this person were to leave them, they could take so much with them in the process, which we have all witnessed again and again of women and men marrying someone because of what their bank account looks like. And what comes to mind instantly for me is I used to watch a show called Gossip Girl, and there was a character who played Blake Lively's mom, and she became a billionaire because she had 5 marriages that ended in divorce. A real life scenario would be J-Lo, who has been divorced 4 times. The most recent divorce being just a few months ago between her and Ben Affleck.
Ben Affleck is a beta. You took back a woman that you married and divorced? What a mess.
Also have Mel Gibson, whose wife received half of Mel's $850 million net worth in their divorce. Jeff Bezos' wife.
We all know Jeff Bezos got cooked. This guy got cooked. Okay?
Received around $36 billion in their divorce,
Bro,
making
got
her
cooked.
one of the richest women in the world. And Tiger Woods ended up having to give his wife Ellen $80 million after their...
Not gonna lie, she looks beautiful. Beautiful woman. She looks beautiful. But this is the thing, right? I know that she's beautiful, but the way you look at her, are you looking at her from a lustful desire? Is the flesh talking? Is the flesh like, oh, she's hot. I gotta get her. That's the flesh. That's the thoughts take over. When I see her, I'm like, oh, she's beautiful. But who is she? Big difference. Who has she identified with? What have she identified with? Who is she? And the reason I repeat who is she is because there's a thing. We'll get to it probably later on in most of my other videos. For now, we'll just stick to the basics, you know. But you want to be able to get to know a woman. Don't let her use your emotions. Because if you don't work in yourself and get rid of those emotions that your mom have imposed on you, they're not from God, they're from the devil. Right? And the thoughts, working not listening to your thoughts because they're not you. If your thoughts are you, please tell me. Tell me you did this. Tell your thoughts to stop giving you thoughts. Tell your thoughts to stop giving you those crazy thoughts that you get. You know what I'm talking about. Tell your thoughts to stop doing it and see if it stops. You can't control it. It's not you. Like, work on that before. And then you'll be able to see a woman for really who or what she is. Okay?
Their divorce. Not only...
And you won't wind up in these situations where you're getting manipulated and get all your wealth taken away from you.
Is this clearly no exception to the rich and famous when it comes to the breadwinner being the losing party in divorce, but it happens to everyday people who don't have $50 million or...
Everyday people. So most people, not most, everyone struggles with the same issues. You're not different, I'm not different. We all struggle with the same issues.
$100 million left over to rebuild, and there is many stories out there of men and women losing everything after divorce. But before we move on, I just want to...
Let's be honest here. It's mostly man that loses everything. Because normally women married a man that's already have achieved more than her, and he's in a place where he can provide. It's very rare that a man end up with a woman, he's the one getting money from her. It's very rare, but it does happen. Okay?
highlight on the fact that it isn't always just the breadwinner that gets hurt in divorce. Sometimes it's completely the other way around, as there is countless women who were homemakers and relied on their husbands to care for them financially, while they took care of the home and raised
The people that really get hurt in a divorce are the kids. That's really who gets hurt, honestly.
children who found themselves left with nothing after their husband left them, and also faced with the disadvantage of not.
So we have to agree on why these divorces happen, because we can't just speak in context and like the man leave the woman with nothing. Most of the time the women do get something from the man. That's not how it goes. Especially if the man is wealthy, she will get it. The court will make sure she gets it. And sometimes the reason why the divorce happen is because they're both relying on each other to feel happiness, to feel happy. They're both relying on each other to get an emotional stimulus from each other, which is evil. You want your partner to bow down and make you feel good. He wants the same thing. That's pure evil. And the reason why that happened in relationship is because we think that is love, but it's not love. If it was love, let's say your wife did something that you did not like, you would correct her with pure love, without hatred, without resentment, without judging her. And that's how you would be able to do that, right? But you getting mad at her and yelling at her, and she does the same thing to you when you don't do anything right, or does it the way that she wants to do it, that's not love. You've been traumatized by your parents to have that emotional feeling. When you were young, your parents probably yell at you, cry to you, get you to do what they want, and discipline you wrong, and you get emotions. And then that emotion starts to control you, because she will like put fear in you. Like, I'm gonna get your dad to do this to you. She yell at you, she cry, and then ask you to do things. And because you're scared, you're gonna do it. And you grow up with this feeling, and that's how people get to control you, because your wife is gonna tell you, listen, do this, else you ain't getting none of this. It's like, what? That's crazy. That's manipulating and control you. And when she makes you feel good and kiss you, and especially when she do something wrong and she's gonna come and cuddle up with you and kiss you and try to play all these nice things, she's controlling you. You need to correct her properly, the right way, with love. True pure love.
Not having a job or where to even start. It's so abundantly clear that a marriage contract holds the key to financial ruin if one party decides they want to end it. But aside from finances, number 5 leads many, including women in 2025, to ask themselves, what is the point of marriage? Why am I going to put myself in this position? Why get married at all? And I feel like it really does come down to this question, the why. Because if we have the why behind marriage, then it could fundamentally change our opinion on these other reasons.
I wonder what or why is gonna be for this video. I mean, I can't wait to see why we should get married.
We created a video about a theory of a hidden religion found in many movies. It really got me thinking about lenses, and how when we look at things through a certain lens, we can be met with something that we might have never noticed unless we discovered that lens. When I was younger, all I wanted to do was get married. I went from boyfriend to boyfriend to boyfriend, wondering every time, is this the one? If you had asked,
you shouldn't be searching for anyone. And if you're jumping from boyfriend to boyfriend, it means you're missing something. And you're trying to fulfill it by finding a man. Which, not sure if she has forgiven her parents and dad. But that's something she should probably do, because they have traumatized her. To look for love, which is a lie, because unless that guy is working on himself and he's seeking the kingdom of God, he will be able to show her love. Not the way that she thought or thinks love should be, but the right way that love will be from God.
Asked me back then why I wanted to get married, I would tell you it's because that's just what you do. Maybe it was the countless movies I watched, signaling to my little
Definitely the movies you watch too.
pubescent brain that the key to happiness is getting married. It has become a societal norm so much to the point that if you are in your 20s or your 30s, you will be more than likely hounded by aunts and uncles and maybe mom and dad saying, "Are you going to settle down? When are you thinking of marrying? You are going to regret it if you don't." And I'm going to be totally honest.
Don't let your parents or grandparents force you to get married, because you're going to think that's what you should do because it's society norm, and you're going to end up in hell because you're going to think you want it, but you don't know what you need. You don't know what you want, right? Without God, you don't know what you need and you don't know what you want. He's the only one that knows what you need. Adam didn't even know that he needed a woman. He didn't have those thoughts. God just said, okay, you need someone, and he sent her there. That's how it should be, happen naturally.
With you,
Of ourselves, we don't know what we want, and of ourselves, we don't know what we need. So don't go seeking it. It will just happen. Follow the teaching of Jesus Christ. Trust in the Lord. Seek after what is right, and things will happen naturally.
one of the most freeing and weightless moments I've ever had in my life was realizing that I don't need to be married to live a happy and full, complete life. Hence the word need. I came to a point where I realized I don't need to get married, but did I want to? Of course. But I wasn't going to let that be the reason to frantically find someone to be joined with for the rest of my life, just to feel that I checked a box of what society says you should do and shouldn't do. In fact, the reason I got to that place of that weight being lifted was when I heard this Bible verse. Now to the unmarried and the widows, I say it is good for them to stay unmarried as I am. But if they cannot control themselves, they should marry. For it is better to marry than to burn with passion. As well as a verse addressed to men stating it is good for a man not to marry. And of course, there is a lot more context here to be pressed into, but these were ultimately the two verses that gave me a new lens to look at marriage. And the Bible also dramatically affected my views on the uncertain when it comes to being cheated on, fear of facing divorce, and all its complications, among also possibly finding myself in financial ruin. It came down to a question of where I was not only putting my joy, but also my faith, which was in a man, which was in a marriage. If you ask someone why they are getting married, you will be met with all sorts of reasons. But none of those reasons will alter the fact that when they say those words, "I do," and sign on that dotted line, they are choosing to put their faith in the person standing in front of them. A person who can lie, cheat, steal, hurt, or abandon them. When we put our faith and hope in people, we can find ourselves anxious, uneasy, and depressed. And that is the category that all of these reasons fall into. These reasons most people don't want to get married today. It is...
Another thing is because we have thought this growing up, and you yourself have identified with all of these things. Getting married, have kids, get a job, I'm heterosexual, I'm gay. All of these things you have identified with them and you think it's you. It's not even you. It's not interesting.
Fear of putting their faith in a person. And as this world grows darker and sex continues to lose its meaning and value, and money has replaced the importance of love in many young women's minds and hearts, men have chosen to...
Yeah, money. You know why that is? If you look at social media, everything that's promoted, it's wealth. And the women, they see that and they're attracted to it. And the guy set a standard. They're like, oh, I'll take you to these high-end restaurants. I take you in my Lambo. I take you to do all of these things. trying to make her feel good so you can get what you want from her. You lied to her, just like how your mom lied to you about what love is, to cater to a woman. And in her mind, she's like, ha, I got this guy wrapped around my finger. She can manipulate you easily. Just because your mom traumatized you. Isn't that something interesting? And you're there spending all this money on her and doing this, and she's just gonna get up and leave when her feelings change. See? The devil has the devil has set you up. And he's gonna take away. You're gonna feel bad, and you're gonna reminisce about, oh, we did all these nice things, and keep you trapped in thought again. It's gonna like, go get another one. You're gonna go do the same thing, and the same thing is gonna happen. You're gonna go do the same thing, and it's gonna happen because you're not working on yourself. You need to forgive your mom. You need to forgive your dad for imposing their will on you, and your dad for not protecting you from your mom. Okay?
To turn away. And after researching for this video, men, I totally understand where you are coming from, but I'm asking you today in this video to ask yourself why you would choose not to marry. If it is truly rooted in your lack of trust and faith in the women that you see online and the behavior of the feminist group as a whole, you're
just throw feminists out the way. Feminist women, they're career driven, they're pride, they have a lot of ego, they're educated. They won't make great wives. They won't make great wives and a homemaker and know how to raise a kid, because guess what? They're gonna be at work, they're gonna come home, they won't have enough time to take care of the kid properly, so they may yell at the kid, may not acknowledge the kid, they may not do what's needed to be done because they're tired, they have to do other things around the house. And guess what? Now your own kid got traumatized. So he's repeat the same cycle again. She put fear into him, feelings. And that feelings is going to let other people, especially women, control him. Right? But not only that, not saying you shouldn't work. If you're not married and you're single, you should work. How are you going to pay for your bills? How are you going to take care of yourself?
lack of faith in people in general, then why don't you put your faith in the one that would never harm you, the one who works everything out for your good, the one who knows what you need before you even ask for it, and the one who has a plan for your life, plans to prosper you and give you hope and a future. When I did this in 2019, I saw everything, including marriage, through a new lens, and I began to understand the true meaning of marriage, how it was designed by God when we were created to be a protection and a shield. And although it is written that it is better for a man not to marry, it is also written that whoever finds a wife finds a good thing. And we are met with what a wife actually is, what a good wife looks like, and how nothing a man could ever desire here on this earth could compare to her. There is
Huh? What I desire? You shouldn't be desiring a woman, because once you desire her, you're gonna make her your God. You're gonna start worshiping her. Okay? Seek only after the truth. Seek the kingdom of God. Even when you're in a relationship, God should be the main focus. Because if that's not the focus, guess what's the focus now? You're a woman, and he's your focus, and now you're both focused on each other. And when that person stops making you feel a certain type of way, what's gonna happen? Focus on God. You shouldn't desire nothing, because the devil will give it to you. God know what you need, and he know what you want without you even knowing. Because you think you want the fast cars, you think you want all the women, you think you want all the money, but yet you get it, and yet you're still not filled. You still need more. You still need more. And you're gonna need more until you're dead, and you're not gonna be happy. But you can be happy right now. You can be fulfilled right now. The Lord is there and He's waiting and He's willing. But are you willing? Are you letting your flesh drives you instead of your spirit?
Women all around the world right now pressing into these words, striving to become this woman. They don't put their faith and joy in sharing their body on OnlyFans or looking to meet a guy who has a bank account.
The funny thing that she brought up OnlyFans, I was reading a comment and they were saying this chick, this lady, don't know how true it is. They say she was an OnlyFans girl. Not sure how true that is. They're gonna judge her. I understand it. But doesn't mean she hasn't changed if she's truly walking with God. Reading the Bible is good, but you need to go and forgive your mom and dad though. Then most things will, you'll see most things after that.
They are pleased with. They are looking for a man who has put his faith not in this world, but in God. Ultimately, at the end of the day.
So if she's looking for a man that put his faith in not in this world, but in God, your desire to say when you find a woman, she will be the best thing, nothing compared to her that you desire on this earth. I don't understand that. That's kind of contradicting what you said before. That's why I was like, seek nothing but God. Not even a woman.
Where we put our faith will alter the entire course of our lives. If we put our faith in a husband or a wife, if we put our faith in the marriage certificate we signed, and if we put our faith in ourselves, who knows where we will end up. But when we put our faith in God, when we build a relationship with God at the center, the storms will come. Rain, wind, but the relationship can be unmoved. When we put our faith in God, He will arrange all the pieces perfectly. Even if disaster comes, even if the worst happens, He will work everything out for our good, for those who love Him and have put their faith in Him. As well as you may have chosen to not get married, but God may have something planned for you that you wouldn't have planned for yourself. Lastly, to close out, looking through the lens of the Bible for 4+ years now, I can honestly tell you that it is overwhelmingly obvious that there is a war on marriage. It is so beyond clear that our government here in America...
It's not war and marriage per se. It's a spiritual warfare. It's a war for the mind. Because without the mind, you can't operate. And with the mind, you use the mind to think, and also thoughts flow into it. So if they can unconsciously program you to still stay in your thoughts, they got you. They got you. The God that we think we serve is actually the devil on earth. Because we are in hell. And we're not seeing. We're so blind. I was blind. We all are blind and so evil to the core. I realized how evil I was, woke me up. I was like, I'm so evil, man. We try to manipulate a situation to get what we want out of it. We are so evil. But it is a spiritual warfare, not just marriage. Marriage is a tool they use to, fund their bank account.
Is in favor of those who do not get married, who have sex outside of marriage, who live together outside of marriage, and who have children outside of marriage. You will receive checks, you will receive benefits for living outside of the covenant and protection of marriage. But personally,
yeah, they took away Christianity. It's the government now. We need to go back to the Bible.
For me, there is no amount of money here on this earth that could lead me to step out of the protection of God. I love you guys. I pray that you...
So she didn't cover why marriage was created by God. It was created for you and your wife to become one and go be fruitful and multiply. That was the old reason. If you're not going to have kids, you shouldn't get married. Simple.